In tonight's BS Report, Bill is sounding off, but in a good way. He's breaking down the Braves' division win and tells us who he thinks was behind the big victory. Take a look.
In a way, it's fair to ask the question, how exactly did the Atlanta Braves win the National League East? They clinched the division on Sunday and have an 8.5 game lead on the Washington Nationals with 6 games left in the regular season. The race was over early. You could argue that the Braves won the division back in April when they started the season 12-1. But we knew back in late July when they started a 14-game winning streak that the Braves were going to win their first division title since 2005. It's time to give some credit to Fredi Gonzalez, the manager, the man who replaced Bobby Cox almost 3 years ago as the leader of this team. He's the same one most of us have just not been very sure about. He was the replacement for a legend and in his first 2 years had very shaky results. Remember, 2 years ago, Gonzalez's first season in charge, when the Braves blew the huge lead in the wild card race and watched the playoff games at home. And then last year, they were 6 games better than St. Louis, but lost in the 1-game playoff at home. Those had many wondering if Gonzalez was really good at what he does. But since 2011, when he took over, the Braves have had the best record in baseball in the regular season. And this year was truly remarkable. Think about all of this. They've had injuries at an almost historic level. They lost relievers Johnny Venters, Eric O'Flaherty, and Christian Martinez in April. Those three have been outstanding for the last couple of years. Yet somehow the Braves created a bullpen that has been the best in baseball. Tim Hudson and Paul Mulholland, the two veterans in the rotation, have missed significant time. Brandon Beachy was expected back from his Tommy John surgery, but he made only 5 starts before going back on the disabled list. Catcher Brian McCann missed April coming back from his shoulder surgery. The first baseman, second baseman, center fielder, and right fielder have all spent time on the disabled list. And of the players that started on the season on the bench, 3 have missed significant time with injuries. And then there's this. 2 of the 8 regulars in the lineup, 1/4 of the lineup, have batting averages under 200. Now, there have been inconsistencies and frustrations because of these issues. This team, at times, has looked like they had no chance to do anything special in October. And that's why skepticism remains for many. But for now, with this team winning the National League East, despite all the injuries and issues, it's time to give some credit to Fredi Gonzalez. Somehow, some way, this team has had an outstanding season. It's not often that a team wins the division by this much and has people asking, how did they do this? But that's exactly the case with the Braves. And when that happens, the manager deserves a lot of praise for somehow pulling it off. Now, like any manager, Gonzalez will be analyzed and evaluated by how this team does in October. If they don't last long, chances are he'll get some of the blame. But we can't lose sight of how this team has had a special season. And it's time for us to realize that Bobby Cox is no longer in charge. The man who replaced him, Fredi Gonzalez, deserves praise and our applause for a job well done.